Is Mike Dunleavy sitting on a beach somewhere sipping milk out of a coconut? Because what is this front office doing? They are asleep! The Golden State Warriors trade deadline situation is an absolute mess. It's an absolute disaster. And more keeps coming out that's going to put Golden State in a bad position ahead of February 6th, this Thursday's trade deadline. We're only a couple of days away. And now, Zach LaVine headed to the Kings. Jimmy Butler says he doesn't want to be a Warrior. And now, where does Golden State go from here? Are they going to deal for Vooch? Not going to move any needles in the Western Conference. It looks like the Golden State Warriors are looking down a black hole right now as far as trades go and as far as improving this roster goes. This team stinks, and they're not going anywhere in the Western Conference this year. Welcome into Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tyler Smith, and I had to get on here tonight and discuss what's going on around the NBA. This has probably been the craziest 24-hour window in league history. Yes, with Luka Doncic being traded to the Lakers, another team that's going to be better than the Warriors for years to come. And De'Aaron Fox getting sent to the San Antonio Spurs to pair up with Wemby, another team that's going to leapfrog Golden State for years to come, and Zach LaVine heading to the Sacramento Kings. You could argue they're going to leapfrog Golden State. They've been hot. They're already in front of Golden State. They've been hot lately, and they got a win now piece as well in Zach LaVine trading away Fox. So the West is uber competitive right now. All these guys, all these teams have elite duos. I mean, Wemby has Fox. We got Jokic having Murray. We got SGA having all of his cats. Chet or J-Dub, pick yours. We got Kyrie and AD. You know who Steph Curry has? He has Dennis Schroeder. This is a disaster, an absolute travesty from the front office in Golden State. Joe Lacob, you have no idea how to judge talent or evaluate talent in this league. Brandon Pajemski and Jonathan Kuminga, untouchables over the summer, and Luka Doncic was just traded last night. I mean, I'm not saying that was a good move by any means from the Mavericks, but nobody is untouchable in this league anymore, and to even fathom that Brandon Pajemski or Jonathan Kuminga were untouchable over the summer is organizational malpractice. I've said that word only a few times here on this channel, and it is coming to a head now. This front office has no idea what it's doing. Mike Dunleavy is honestly like a scared puppy right now. Is going to listen to whatever Lacob says, not going to make any ballsy moves as a general manager, do things that literally win you rings in this league, make risky moves. They're not even doing what Nico Harrison and the Mavericks are doing, trying to make a risky move out here. It's unbelievable. And the reason I'm really making this video here today is because of the most recent update. I wasn't going to make a video on LaVine going to Sacramento. I probably would have covered it on tomorrow's show. However, the notification that we got at 6:29 Pacific from Brian Windhorst of ESPN that said the Heat's Jimmy Butler has communicated to the Warriors that he's unwilling to sign an extension there, and therefore trade talks to send him to Golden State have ended for now. I'm not saying that Jimmy Butler was going to be this elite fit on Golden State's offense. I'm not saying he was going to be an elite fit in this locker room. Steph and Steve Kerr have already mentioned that they have worries about Jimmy's fit personality-wise. But at least it was a swing for the fences and something that signaled to Steph and Draymond that they were trying to compete now, that they were still trying to be in the playoff race, in the uber competitive Western Conference. And clearly, this front office has no intentions of making that happen anymore. The options have ran out. The well has run dry for trade targets. The guys who have been the hot names this cycle have already been moved. Brandon Ingram coming to Golden State, they've already said months ago that they didn't want to go down that path, especially with him coming toward unrestricted free agency in July. Butler already doesn't want to come here. LaVine's already been traded. Vucevic, I know I've been petitioning Golden State to trade for him for a while now, but what's that really going to do at this point? The West has just gotten more and more stacked as the last 24 hours have gone on. This team is in disarray. This team is in a bad spot. And I don't really know if they're going to come out from they're going to see light at the end of this tunnel. I mean, I saw the meme on Twitter is one of the soccer coaches from across the pond. He said, every time I see light at the end of the tunnel, it's just an oncoming train. And that's the position that the Golden State Warriors are in right now. They are in no man's land. They are 8-8 in January. I think they're 16-16 over their last 32. And to be honest with you guys, like I don't think it's going to get any better than that for the rest of this year. I don't think that they're going to be anything better than above a 500 basketball team. And that's the worst place to be in if you are an NBA franchise. You do not want to be in no man's land. You do not want to be doing what the Chicago Bulls have been doing for the past 3, 4, 5 seasons, staying around the end of the play-in tournament. Staying around, you're getting yourself bounced out of the postseason in just one game like Golden State did last year. They're going to end up in the same spot this year, or maybe not. Or maybe they'll just miss the playoffs entirely, and they'll be in the draft they'll be in the draft lottery if they lose the play-in regardless. But this is a disaster, man. Like, they are signaling to Steph and Draymond that they do not care. We do not care about getting you guys in a position to win another championship. And all these reports have come out about Golden State, we're going to wait until the summer when there's a real team improving deal and a swing deal out there that makes sense to us. What's going to be out there now? Moves have already been made. People aren't leaving their current spots. Maybe Kyrie leaves Dallas, but it's not a player Golden State's going to be targeting. Like, the free agency crop this year ain't that good. When Jonathan Kuminga is like borderline top 5 free agent this summer, especially one that's going to hit a market, we're in a bad spot for free agency this year. I'm blowing off steam right now. I got a lot to say, but on the back half of today's show, we'll dive in more specifically to a couple of deals that Golden State said they were going to make. First, though, I got to give a major shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform with over 10 million active members. And you can get started today with a free $50 in your account when you use our promo code CLNS and place your first $5 entry. You might be asking me, Tyler, how do you even place an entry on Prize Picks? It's so simple. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 or more player stat projections and just pick more or less on those stat projections and watch the real money roll in real time, watching your favorite sports. Prize Picks is always trying to offer you guys incredible deals as well, like a Taco Tuesday with discounted stat projections, Flex Friday, where if you lose on that lineup, they'll give your entry back to you in promo funds. And even when there's big games going on, like the big game next Sunday, they're giving you guys some free squares, like Patrick Mahomes, more than half a passing yard. So if you pair that up with anything else in the big game or a basketball pick of your choice, you're already halfway to winning on Prize Picks. So download the app today. Use our promo code CLNS for $50 instantly when you place your first $5 entry. You don't even need to win to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All that information will be clickable down in the comment section and description of today's video. So let's talk about what deal Golden State almost made. Apparently, they had serious conversations. These were the quotes that we heard. Serious conversations with the Chicago Bulls on a Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic trade. So you would have seen a lineup being thrown out there with Steph, LaVine, not Wiggins. I'm sure Wiggins would have to go in that deal. So I insert small forward here. Maybe Torrey Craig gets shipped around too. I really wouldn't want him starting. But Draymond Green and then Nikola Vucevic. You could figure out who the 3 is going to be later. I wonder if Jonathan Kuminga would end up being in that deal. I doubt it, because look at what Chicago got back in the deal for Zach LaVine. It's actually bananas what the move that Chicago made. They didn't get anything back. I believe they got Kevin Huerter, Trey Jones, and who else did they get? Zach Collins, and their own 2025 pick via the Spurs. That ain't a lot, man. That ain't, like, for Zach LaVine, like, who's already averaging 25 points per game this year on 45% from 3, 51 overall from the field. He's been incredibly efficient. He's an elite shot creator, and he only goes for a package of Zach LaVine, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and you get your own pick back? I mean, that's kind of Bush League to me, and the fact that Golden State couldn't make a deal happen for LaVine is very, very telling. What were Mike Dunleavy and Joe Lacob, and even the other people in the brain trust in Golden State's front office, not willing to give up for Zach LaVine? If I hear that Brandon Podziemski was the deal breaker in sending Zach LaVine to Golden State, we're going to have serious problems, man. I mean, there should legitimately be mass firings. Joe Lacob should be forced to sell the franchise if Brandon Podziemski was the holdup in this deal. I'm not saying he was. I know I'm a Pods hater, and I'm quick to assume, but I mean, Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter. What could Golden State not beat that with? I think Moses Moody alone is more valuable than those 3 guys. So maybe Chicago just didn't want to play ball. Maybe Golden State was trying to be a little bit too greedy, getting both Vucevic and LaVine. They couldn't come to agreements on a trade like that. So Chicago just shifted their focus to the deal with Sacramento and San Antonio. This is absolutely nuts, man. And I'm not really happy as somebody who has to cover this team every day and somebody who really pays close attention and is a real big Steph fan and Draymond fan and loves what these guys were doing in their heyday. But it seems like it's over now, man. I mean, I made a video a couple of days ago, maybe about a week ago, that they should just blow it up. Like, what's the point anymore? Like I said at the beginning of this video, who are you competing with for years to come in the West? Steph is 36. Draymond is 33. These guys aren't getting any younger. You have to go all in. And now, everybody that you have been linked to for the past few months, they're off the table. It's over. Is Cam Johnson going to save our issues? No. What is this team afraid of, honestly? Because they're already going to be bad. So you might as well be bad and accumulate as much draft capital down the road as you possibly can. I brought up a trade that Kevin O'Connor made up to send Steph and Draymond to the Rockets, and they get about every pick that team has. I think that would be a legit idea that this front office has to consider now with the fact that they did not improve this roster in 2025. You won't see a higher trade value for Steph or Draymond the rest of their careers. So what do? Like, they both have 2 years left in their deal. So what's going to happen now? Like, I just don't see where this ends up well for Golden State. They're going to be in a position where these two guys just retire and you're left with Jonathan Kuminga making $35 million a year. That's what Golden State's going to do right now, guys. I hope you understand that. If they make no moves at the deadline, Jonathan Kuminga is your franchise player moving forward. Think about that for a second. I just gave you a second of silence to think about that for a second. And we see all these teams. Look, the Lakers just got Luka. What are we doing? What? I don't want to continue to scream. I don't want to continue to be angry. But man, like it's honestly disrespectful to a top 10 player of all time. You could argue the greatest point guard of all time, that you will not go out there and at least make an attempt. I don't think that a almost trade is an attempt. An attempt is a swing of the bat, risky move that you go out there and make in this to respect two players who have won you 4 championships in the last 15 years. This is utterly ridiculous, and I think there needs to be changes in leadership up top. If we roll into next season and there isn't any moves made that are conducive to a plan, because I don't even know what Golden State's plan is at this point. Are they trying to win with Steph and Draymond? Clearly they're not doing a good job at that. Are they trying to go younger and focus on Kuminga, Pods, Moody, TJD? I mean, doesn't look like it. They still have Steph and Draymond on the roster. And do Mike Dunleavy and Joe Lacob legitimately think that the crop of young talent on this roster is good enough over the next borderline decade to compete with the top teams in the West? They would be silly to think so. And that's kind of where I'm at today. I'm going to come at you guys with another video tomorrow, kind of getting into more detail, a little bit more structure than this kind of rant session that I've kind of been on, because, man, I'm angry right now. I'm in a spot where I cover this team every day, and they're clearly not listening to fans. They're not listening to anything. Like they're really putting themselves in a bad spot. So I'm gonna come at you guys tomorrow with a new video. Hopefully we can hear some more things about what Golden State's pursuing ahead of Thursday's deadline. We are only 4 days away now. We're 4 days away from knowing what this roster will look like for the rest of the season and potentially into 2025, 2026. So that's why you stay locked in and make sure you are subscribed, because we're gonna be live on the channel on February 6th as well. So make sure you guys hit that sub button. We just hit 71,500 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for being subscribed to this channel. If you're a diehard Warriors fan, you're going to love what we got going on here at Warriors Today by Chat Sports. So go down below, hit that sub button, follow along with all our trade content this week, and as always, let's go Dubs.